It's been a decade since we've last stepped foot in the world of Oneshot, a game that redefined how we think about video games and the emotional bonds that they can form. By breaking the fourth wall, it created a connection unlike anything players had experienced before. Here you are considered a god, in a world teetering on the edge of ruin, and yet you are powerless to stop its decay after meeting Nico, a small feline child lost in a world that she doesn't belong in. Completely unsure of how she got there, immediately you feel an instinctual tug. She just wants to go home to feel the warmth of her mother's embrace and to taste her homemade pancakes again. That simple, innocent wish pulls you in. But the deeper you go into the story, the more it hits you, the more the tears well up in your eyes, holding back your feelings as you feel like helping her might lead to one of the most emotionally devastating moments you'll ever face in a video game once it's all said and done. We are revisiting this game because it was re-released with a Steam Deck version, and honestly, I have a lot of issues with how this timeless classic was handled. It still holds up, no question about that, but the re-release strips away so much of what made it special in the first place. So here's the problem. Oneshot was one of the first games I had ever played that truly broke the fourth wall. Sure, you could argue that other games did it first, like Psycho Mantis and Metal Gear Solid, and you would be correct. But not everybody had the chance to experience those older titles. I myself didn't. And what made the original Oneshot so special was how it was designed to mess with your physical computer, not a virtual machine inside of a video game. It wasn't just a video game, it was a strike aimed directly at you. You go into the game expecting a cute top-down RPG adventure with a charming wide-eyed companion. But what you get is something darker, a haunting world that you leave behind for years before finally being given the chance to return, only to find it changed slightly. The emotions are still there, stronger than ever when you are reunited with Nico in a crumbling world where she mutters your name in confusion, breaking the loop and bringing back the struggle you went through long ago. It was all leading up to this moment, which was the Solstice update, and this time, there were no second chances. This was your final journey. Oneshot the World Machine Edition is the same game. It's only repackaged for consoles, but it just doesn't capture all the same feelings. You don't get those days, months, or years to reflect on what you did. There's no lingering doubt, no time to sit with your questions. Did you make the right choice for Nico? What if you didn't? Is she still safe? Did she make it back to her mother? These questions haunted the original game, and we were left with a sinking feeling in our chest. Once you play through the first time, the game resets, and in seconds, you are back in the world you barely had any time to step away from. This is one of the reasons why it's so damn hard to feel deeply attached to this version of the game. It'll still make you cry and whimper, but it loses a lot of what made the original punch you in the gut and throw you to the floor. It wasn't just a game. It was a moment of raw vulnerability, forcing players to confront the weight of their decisions and the fear of failing a child lost inside of a world perceived to be a video game. Then after years of doubt and uncertainty, you get the final chance to do things right. This is why it's one of those games that you needed to experience in the moment, because that sensation is no longer there because it doesn't give you the time to think about your actions. That's because you're experiencing the first and second part of the game back to back, with no time lost in between. You don't get that long stretch to sit through your choices or reflect on what just happened. There's no space for the weight of your decisions to settle in and to tear you apart. Thinking about the OST, My Burden is Light stands out the most. The title alone feels like a cruel contradiction. This was not a light burden. It was crushing. This game was built to weigh unbearably on your heart. You were helpless, struggling to hold yourself together, all to put up a front for Nico, so you could show her that you were strong enough to help her. All the while Nico pleads, questions, and looks to you for answers, and the truth is, you can't answer any of them because she's too young to understand. And all of this has nothing to do with you and why she ended up in this broken world. The bonds you form by this point makes everything hurt more than you thought possible. Before you even begin your adventure, you are greeted by this song, and in the final moments as well, it returns, guiding you through to the end. It pulls you back through the entire journey. Everything is still, and you've been with Nico this entire time, and now it's finally time to say goodbye for real. It's come full circle, and this has to be the last time that you're with Nico. She has a home to return to. Every time you reopen this game, you're pulling her away from the dream of home. You bring her back to a world where she was never meant to stay in. You've done everything you could, and if it meant Nico could be happy, if it meant that she'd never have to feel fear, abandonment, or loneliness of being lost again, you would happily give your own life up in seconds. This is how emotional attachment and storytelling should be done. It's not cheap or sexually focused like so many other games do it, nor is it there for shock value or some twisted emotional manipulation. It showcases real, raw, unfiltered emotions. No matter how hard you try to fight it, you will feel it. It'll break you apart slowly, and that weight builds until you cannot hold it in anymore. And this is what makes Oneshot so unforgettable as a story. While that feeling is still present in the World Machine Edition, it is noticeably dulled down. It all takes place inside of a game now. It stays confined. In the original, it leaked out, bleeding into your world, your computer, your safe space. That blurred line between player and game, between fiction and reality, is what gave Oneshot its success. Because the World Machine Edition doesn't have this, the weight doesn't hit as hard, because it's safer, cleaner, and that's exactly the problem. It's filtering out all of the elements. At this point, I've played Oneshot more than 3 times, the Pancake episode twice, and the World Machine Edition twice. Everyone you speak to will tell you the same thing. This game is a masterpiece no matter how hard you look at it and its flaws. Created by some of the most talented indie developers out there, the game tells a meaningful story that deeply conflicts with emotions towards the character and the power or lack thereof to change their faith. It's all written in code, but you have to go out of your way to break that physical code and change the story to find an ending that truly befits Nico and the world and yourself. That experience alone is extraordinarily powerful. The ending is heartbreaking. You know what's coming, and you know this is the last time you will ever see this version of Nico, as the game locks you out of playing the game ever again, unless you delete some save files, which defeats the entire purpose of having one shot, with no second chances. Your journey is over, and you're left to sit with the choices that you made. That's exactly why Oneshot is something you have to experience for yourself. I recommend the original version as it carries a heavier emotional weight than the World Machine ever could. It's unfortunate that you will miss out on the time frame of waiting for the Solstice update, but it's still a great title to pick up if you're looking for something truly heartfelt.